Hi friends! So today we're going to be learning how to count to 10 starting from another number. So first we're going to go over our behavior expectations for this lesson, and I want you guys all to read them with me. So let's go together. I will keep my eyes and ears on the speaker at all times, raise my hand when I want to share, and always try my best. So can everyone point to their eyes right now? Now point to their ears and show me what keeping your eyes and ears on the speaker looks like. Great job. Okay, now can everyone raise their hand? So anytime you want to share something with the class, you're going to raise your hand quietly and I will call on you. And then always try your best. You guys are so good at that already. I'm not even worried. Also, if you guys have noticed, on this slide, I have a little Bitmoji of myself since we are not together in the classroom. I figured it'd be a fun way to pretend like I'm teaching. So look out on all the slides for the little Bitmoji of me. Next, we're going to go over our signal for attention. So when I say hands on top, you guys are all going to say, everybody stops, look at me, put your hands on top of your head, and listen and wait for the next directions. So we're going to try that one out. Hands on top. Okay, now turn and talk to your neighbor so we can simulate how it would be if we were talking during a lesson. Okay, so chatter with your neighbors. Hands on top. Nice job. You guys all did awesome at that. Now we're going to go over some of the vocabulary that we will be using in this lesson and also review what we were working on the last time we were together. So the first vocab word is the one that I'm pointing to in my little Bitmoji, and that is number. So number is something we use for counting. So before we move on to the next slide, I want everyone to think in their head of an example of a number. So does anyone have an example? Yeah, John. You're the number 5. Yep, that is a great example. Does anyone else have an example? Thank you for quietly raising your hand, Becca. What do you have? 300. Yep, another great example of numbers. I'm going to pick on one more friend who is sitting super quietly, and it looks like Georgia is doing awesome at that. What number? 17. That is a great example of numbers. I think you guys understand that super well. So we are going to move on to reviewing our last lesson that we had together. And the last time we were together, we were learning to count to 10. So let's go ahead and do that all together. So all together, we're going to count to 10. You can count on your fingers as well, but follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice job. You guys all did awesome. For today's lesson, we are going to be learning to count to groups of 10 starting at another number. So instead of counting from 1 to 10, we are going to start at a different number in between that. And we're going to do this so that we can become better at math. And we will do that by figuring out how many more numbers you will need to get to 10. So with this nice weather, has anyone else been going on a lot of walks recently? Yeah, Sarah, thank you for raising your hand when you want to share. Oh, you've been going on walks with your mom? Awesome. Yeah, give me a quiet thumbs up at your chest if you've been going on walks recently. Yeah, I have too. And sometimes I see some animals while I'm on my walks. Has anyone seen animals while they're on a walk? Give a quiet thumbs up at your chest if you have. Yeah, awesome. So, when I go on walks, I know that there are 10 baby ducks near where I live. There are 10 of them. And so we see them all the time. And so yesterday I was going on my walk and I found the spot where the baby ducks usually are. And I counted them and I only saw 4, like on my screen here. And so I knew that there should be 10. So I had to figure out how many other ones we had so that we could figure out maybe where they were. So right now we're going to figure out how we would count if we're starting at 4, but we know that there's 10, how we would get to there and how many baby ducks would be missing. So on my screen now we have the 4 baby ducks. So if we want to be able to count to 10, we are going to start with putting our hands up but not having any numbers. So this is a little bit tricky, so everyone needs to listen carefully so that we can make sure we're following along and know what we're doing. So it's going to be tricky because we are going to start with no numbers showing on our hands, but when we count, we are going to start with the number 5 because we already have 4. So right now we can count 1, 2, 3, 4 baby ducks on our screen, but we're going to start now with our hands showing 0, but we are going to start counting the baby ducks as they come up on the screen. So the next baby duck that comes up, what number is that going to be? 5. Yes, so when that pops up, we're going to count 5 and we're going to put up 1 finger. So, they all came up at once. Let's count it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now you're going to look at how many fingers you have holding up. Can someone quietly raise their hand and tell me? Georgia. Yeah, you have 6 fingers you have 6 fingers up right now. That means that you have 6 baby ducks to get to 10 if you're starting at 4. So that is one way that you can count to 10, and we're going to call that counting on your fingers. There's also one other way called Math Mountains that I will show you in a little bit, but before we move on, we're going to do another problem on the board. So on the board, I'm going to draw up, can someone quietly raise their hand and give me a number? Yep, George. 3. Okay, so I'm going to draw on the board 3 stars, and that's how many we're going to be starting with. And for now, we're always going to be trying to get to 10. So we're going to do the same thing. So everyone put their fists out with 0, and then in our head, we're going to count 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to start counting on our fingers. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now quietly count up how many fingers you have up and raise your hand when you want to share. Yep, Jamie. You have 7 fingers up. Yes. So if we're starting with 3 to get to 10, we would need 7 stars. So I'm going to draw up my 7 stars, and then we can go back and count them if we wanted to do it this way to check our work. You can draw them back out on your paper. So let's count all the stars that we have right now once we've added 7, and it should equal 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome, that means that we did it right. It looks like you guys all really understand this method, so I think we're going to move on to Math Mountains. But before we do that, can you quietly give me a thumbs up at your chest if you feel like you could do this counting on your fingers on your own? If I gave you an image with 3 items, 4 items, any amount of items, do you think you could do this on your own? You're going to give me a thumbs up. If not, I want you to give me a thumb sideways. And that means if you give a thumb sideways, that means I could use a little bit more practice. And a thumbs down at your chest would mean I really do not understand what you're saying and would like extra help. Okay, like I thought, it looks like you guys really understand this, so we'll have some chances to do it on your own later, so you can show off how much you know it. But for now, we're going to move on to the Math Mountains. So what are Math Mountains? Math Mountains will help us count to 10 from any number, and this is what they look like. So you're going to have 1 box at the top and 2 at the bottom going down. So they kind of look like mountains. And when we're doing it, we are always going to have a 10 at the top, but the bottom 2 numbers are going to be something that equals your top number. So, like I said, we're always going to have 10 at the top, and today I'm going to give an example so that we can do one together, and I'm going to write in 6. Now, in this next box, I need to figure out what number needs to go there so that both of these added together equal 10. So there's a few different ways you can do this. You can guess, you can try to count to it, you can use your fingers. And does anyone have a guess of what that number could be? Georgia. 3. Okay, so I've written 3 in. And the way that you can check if it's right is that you should be able to add the bottom 2 numbers together and it should be able to equal the top number. So let's add those together. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so is 9 that top number? No, we're looking for 10. So that means that we know that 3 would not be the right number. Can anyone give me a different number? Becca. 4. Okay, let's try to count that one again. So it should equal 10. 6 plus 4. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that does equal 10. So 6 plus 4 equals 10, which means our 2 bottom numbers equal our top number. And that is all you have to do a math mountain. So we're going to try another one on the board. So in the top box, I'm going to draw it out. We have a 10. Now can someone quietly raise their hand and give me a number for one of the bottom ones? Yep, right there. 8. Okay, so I'm going to write 8 in. And now we're going to think in our heads, come up with what you think the next box is going to be filled with. And then I'm going to choose someone who is quietly listening here. Becca, go ahead. You think that the number is 2. Okay. Now we are going to try to count it. So we have 8 plus 2. 8, 9, 10. Yes. Does 8 and 2 equal 10 at the top? Yes, it does. And that means that this is correct. Awesome. And we are going to again show me a thumbs up, thumbs to the side, and thumbs down if you're feeling good, want more examples, or are pretty lost right now. Okay, it looks like everyone's giving me a thumbs up. So I'm going to have you practice it on your own. So grab your whiteboards, and I'm going to put up a number on this image on the screen of a number. And you are going to, on your whiteboards, you can use your math mountains or you can use your counting on your fingers. And you're going to show me you're going to show me on your whiteboard your work and what number you think you would need to get to 10 with the number I show you. So if you have 4 hearts, how many would you need to get to 10? And I'm going to give you some time to work on that. Friends, you are working so hard and so quietly, following all the behavior expectations. I'm super proud of you. Okay, it looks like everyone is done, so I'm going to count to 3, and at that time, you can show me your whiteboard. 1, 2, 3. It looks like everyone has 6. Becca, what method did you use to get that number? You used math mountains? Okay, do you want to come up to the board and draw out what you did? Yeah, okay. So it looks like she's starting with 10 in the top, which is perfect. And then she's writing her 4 in at the bottom. And then was 6 the first number you guessed? Yeah, okay, and then what did you do to check your work? You counted to 10? Perfect. Give me a quiet thumbs up if that is also the way that you did it. If you used counting on fingers, that's totally fine. Now give me a thumbs up. Okay, gold star for everyone. And now we're going to go over our learning target again. So today we learned to count in groups of 10. And we did this so that we could become better at math and learn some harder things later on. And we did that by figuring out how many more numbers I need to get to 10. And that is it for our lesson today. So let's transition into getting ready for lunch. So I'm going to dismiss you by table group, and you can go grab your lunchbox or your lunch thing and get in line.